Getting started with PicoScope 7 is super simple. All you need is a PicoScope and a computer. Today we're going to talk you through getting set up all the way to taking your first measurement, so stay tuned and use the chapters below to navigate. First of all, you need to make sure you're using a Windows, Mac OS or Linux computer. Next, download the PicoScope installation software from picotech.com or use the first link in the description. For Windows and Mac, run the installer following the instructions as they appear. For Linux users, follow the command line instructions to install PicoScope 7. Once installed, open the PicoScope 7 software and it will boot up. It will then ask you which PicoScope you want to connect to. If none are plugged in, it will only display the demo mode, which is a great tool for trying out the PicoScope 7 software without a single device. If a PicoScope is plugged in, it will automatically connect to that scope. Now we can plug in our PicoScope. For today, we have the PicoScope 3000E, but the instructions are similar for each of our units. Plug the PicoScope into your PC using the provided USB cable and it will appear on the PicoScope 7 scope selector screen. Select your device and click OK. The software will connect to your device and in the graph area you will see a signal running across the screen. Before we move on, a quick note on power supplies. PicoScope 7 will tell the user if your scope needs a power supply, although most PicoScopes use the power provided from the USB and USB power delivery. The 5000 series works at a reduced channel capacity without a power supply and displays these icons on the disabled channels. The 6000 series always needs a power supply due to its high performance. A quick overview on the PicoScope 7 interface. On the top left is your run stop button. Moving down the left is the channel settings of all your analog, and if you have an MSO model, it will display your digital channel groups. The next one down is the built-in signal generator. Below that is a load of tools and settings which we'll go through in a separate tutorial. Along the top row, the first is your time-based control, how much time per division is displayed on the screen. Next is your trigger settings to tell the scope what to look for, followed by a waveform navigator to allow you to set and browse multiple captures. If you have a flexible resolution PicoScope like this 3000 series, it will display an option to change the resolution. The last few buttons are to change the instrument, auto-scale the graph, and file-related buttons. We can now try our first measurement. For this, we're going to generate a signal using the built-in signal generator and test using a probe into channel A. To start this, we need to first generate a signal. In PicoScope 7, open the signal generator tab and turn it on. This will generate a sine wave at 1 kHz with an amplitude of 800 millivolts. Once that's set up, connect channel A to the signal generator output with either a B and C cable or carefully with the tip of a probe. We need to scale the data to make full use of the resolution and sample rate. To do this, decrease the voltage range of channel A to around 1 volt and reduce the time base to around 200 microseconds per division. This will scale the data so that it fits within the 1 volt peak-to-peak range and display at least one full cycle of the sine wave. To stop the data jumping around, we need to tell the scope where the starting point is by adding a trigger. Open the trigger menu and switch the trigger mode to auto. This will turn on the trigger with a default threshold of 0 volts. For more details on all the trigger settings, watch this video here. To measure the signal, go to measurements and add a peak-to-peak and frequency to confirm the state of the sine wave generated. At the bottom, it will display a peak-to-peak of around 1.6 volts and a frequency of 1 kHz, just as we set the signal generator. You can add or remove those measurements as needed to test and verify different parts of your circuits. So that's a brief guide on getting started with PicoScope 7. Remember to try experimenting with all the signal generator and software controls to get more familiar with what's available. Also, here's a playlist of videos that give more information about the advanced functions of PicoScope 7. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more Pico-related content. So get experimenting and get scoping. That was cringy enough.